Hey everyone, it's me. Good morning. It's still morning here, sometime after 11. This is a little car vlog catch-up. First of all, glasses or no glasses? Can you guess? If you guessed no glasses, you're right. My lenses are still at the eye doctor's since last Thursday, but my frames have not come in yet. And so if you don't know, last Thursday I broke my frames and I took them right into town to my eye doctor's office, and they thought that they could just screw something together, but I knew that they couldn't. And then after they decided that they couldn't, they told me that they didn't have those frames in stock and that I had a warranty and they were gonna call the manufacturer. And so they had me sit and wait, and I sat and waited. And then the lady who was making the call called me up to the desk. She was still on the phone. She was very nice to me and to the company she was dealing with. She was trying her best to get those frames overnighted, but Christmas Eve was the next day. Christmas was that Saturday. And so she ended up hanging up and telling me that the frames would be there Monday, this last Monday. And so I waited all day Monday for a call, and then I called and was told, I talked to someone else, and I was told that they were not in. Then I called Tuesday, talked to someone else, and I was told that they were not in because of the holiday. Things didn't get overnighted, and also they could not find the tracking number. And so I called again Wednesday, and the lady I talked to was checking things that had come in the night before. I was told that they were not in, and she was gonna call the manufacturer again and then call me back. She called me back and said that the frames were on the way and that they would be there Friday. Yesterday. I called yesterday, but yesterday I was very busy, and by the time I called they had closed, but I left a voicemail because they are open today. I left a voicemail. Well, they called this morning to say, oh, someone is coming out of someplace. They called back this morning to say that now, because of COVID, I guess there's an outbreak wherever this manufacturing company is that's doing these frames. Because of that, staff is cut short. And so she was going to call, she was going to call Monday and see what can be done about this. In the meantime, I asked, does my eye doctor, I named her, know about all of this since last Thursday, because I'm sure that she would not be pleased knowing that I have an eye condition in my right eye and I really need those glasses for the vision problem that I have. And the lady I talked to said, yes, we keep the doctors informed, but there's nothing that they can do, she said. So she said, we'll call you back on Monday. Well, about 45 minutes later, they called me back, and now I'm talking to a different lady. She tells me that, come to find out, my frames were not even from my eye doctor's office, that they're from Walmart. So that the eye doctor's office doesn't even carry that brand or number. You know how frames have numbers on them. And I said, well, I brought the glasses there last Thursday, and they were checking them all over. They saw the numbers. They were checking those frames over really good because they were trying to see if they could put a screw in. And I was told that those frames were under warranty from my eye doctors. So maybe some of that mistake is me. I mean, I should know where my glasses come from. I have another pair, well, 2 other pairs. I know one is from the Dollar Tree from when, probably about 4 years ago, from when my eye doctor was saying, well, try this strength from the Dollar Tree. Well, they didn't do anything for me. Everything was blurry and made me dizzy. But I've hung on to those glasses to donate them someplace, you know. And then I do have another pair that I did find. I broke my glasses last Thursday. I found this other pair on the next day on Friday. And I've been trying to use them off and on, but they're really not helping. And now I've misplaced those. Because this morning I told the lady, well, I have this one pair from the Dollar Tree. I have this other pair that must have come from the eye doctors a couple years ago. And she said, well, read me the numbers that are on the frame, the part that goes behind the ear. I said, well, I've misplaced them. And so, anyway, she said, well, don't worry about, paying for these frames that we're trying to get from the manufacturers, because she said it was the majority of this mess was the mistake of my eye doctor's office. I mean, they were looking at those frames and the numbers. They should have known that last Thursday that those weren't theirs, and then they could have told me, and I would have figured something else out. So anyway, she said, we will cover, the cost for these frames, even though the ones that you broke are not from here. And so she said, we'll call you back Monday. So I don't know if they'll have them Monday or if I'm going to have to wait. I even said, if I can, they close at noon, my eye doctors, and this was about 10:30. I said, if I go searching for this other pair, can I bring the frame in and you just put the other lens in, my regular lens? And she said, well, then someone is making a U-turn here in this parking lot and came real close to my car. She said, if we did that, you'd be stuck with, your older frame. You wouldn't have this frame that you brought in. I said, well, I really like this other frame that I have anyway. Then she said, well, it couldn't be done today because our etcher is not here, the one that cuts the lenses to fit. So either way, have to wait till Monday. So there was no use in turning the place upside down to find them. I just had them yesterday in my hand. I don't believe they're here in the car. Yesterday, let me tell you what happened. I was busy all morning. By the time 2:30 came, I guess that chronic fatigue had kicked in. I felt so run down, like you do when you have the flu. But I didn't have no flu symptoms. But I felt that way. And I was trying to take things out of my car to bring in. Many of you know I have that red metal bench outside. And I had taken things from the car. I had put on the bench, go back to the car, go back to the bench, close up the car, close up my gate, because when I open up the trailer door to go in, my 2 fur babies are going to run out. If the gate is open, my chihuahua is going to take off. And so I always have to make sure that my little gate is locked up before I open up the trailer door. And I was doing all that and putting things down on the bench and tripping over the stray cat that's been around, and she keeps trying to make her way into my place. And fighting off the rundown feeling that I was having. And I thought I got everything in the trailer. And I did, except one thing that I didn't realize until this morning. This morning, when I'm getting ready to come out here, I'm looking for my wallet. And I'm looking, and I said to myself, Self, I know you didn't leave it in the car. But I have before. But I knew that I didn't. I made sure, yesterday afternoon. I remember having it in my hand for sure. And so I came out to the car anyway, and I looked, and on my way back into my yard, locking up my little gate, walking past my red bench to go into the trailer, what do I see on the ground underneath my red bench? My wallet. It must have slipped off the bench, and it was under that bench all night long and wet because we've had rain, not a heavy rain, but I guess like a steady drizzle. Anyway, thank the Lord I found it. And wait a minute. Oh, he's opening up the back of his SUV, looking for something. Maybe his wallet, maybe his glasses. Lord help him to find whatever he's looking for. And so that has been the glasses issue, then the wallet thing. But I also want to tell you, I think I have found whatever stitch pattern I'm going to use for my blanket for my 2022 Scenic Beauty Calendar Cal. I am going to make a blanket. I'm just not sure how big because I've got so much going on. You know that Ursula has called me out. She has challenged me. She has told me to finish my Apache Tears blanket this year. So that is number one on my list to finish this year. If I do a few rows every day, or if I wait till the end of the week and do a whole bunch of rows, whatever, I'm going to get it done this year because it deserves to be done. And then I have gotten back involved with the Granny Square Exchange. You know, I've showed you different squares. I've showed you a blanket or two that I've made from squares from that exchange. I've been a member of that exchange for years, but I took 2 years off from exchanging squares because of the 2 major surgeries I had and then recovering and just life. I did not want to be committed to even making 1 square a month and having it mailed out. You have 30 days from the day that you're assigned your partner to mail out your square. And as you know, a day can go by, zippity zip, and before you know it, 30 days, 31 days, whatever, however many's in a month, it's gone, and then you're behind in your assignment, and you feel terrible because maybe you've already received your square or squares from your partners, and so I took 2 years off from it, from as far as exchanging, but I've kept up with the main group. But I told Deirdre, who runs the exchange, I told her in November or December, I'm going to get back involved in exchanging come January. And so I am back in. I've decided to do 2 squares a month. I've already been assigned my 2 partners and their color preferences. I sent the colors that I'm asking to receive for my squares. And so I'll be, involved in that. So I have my Apache Tears. I have my square exchange. I really want to put together the different shades of blue squares that I received from this square exchange group maybe 9, 10, even maybe 11 years ago. I received them with the intent to make a blanket for a cousin of mine whose favorite color is blue and who has MS. I really want to get that done. That cousin's birthday is in March. It would be wonderful if I could get it done by then, but I don't know. I do not know. But I have those 3 main things, on my plate. And so I'm not sure how big my calendar cal blanket is going to be. I don't want it to be something too involved because of all this other stuff. But I want it also to be something nice. And I'm not buying any yarn for it. I'm just going through my stash, and I've already picked all my variegateds up until June. Every month I'm going to be using a variegated and a solid color. And so I have picked all my variegateds up till June. But I've only picked out my solid color for January. And so it may be the size for a car seat, a crib, maybe a lap blanket. I don't think it will go as big as a twin, but maybe. But I'm trying to decide on 2 different stitch patterns, and then I got to figure out the math part. I spent a lot of time last night looking through a lot of my crochet books that I've pulled. I want to tell you, I have so many crochet books. If someone were to come into my trailer and see the totes that I have full of just crochet books, and then open up a closet in my added on room and see a shelf or shelf and a half that's filled with crochet books, they would call me into some place and think I'm a hoarder. And I know that some of those books I have 2 of. Like I just found one the other day of 2. And so I've offered that extra one up to my neighbor, Pat, because she's been so helpful, as you all know, with the giveaways, with keeping track of comments, the word people use that I ask and all that. And so I offered that extra book up to her. But years ago when I lived back home, I had a neighbor who had a brother, and her brother would go to auctions and, bid on things, and then he would resell them. And my neighbor would go with him to keep track of things. They may even have worked some of the auctions. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. But when my neighbor would have to go away to her daughter's, which was in another city, my neighbor had a cat. And we lived in apartment buildings, and the cat was an indoor cat. Well, she offered me, would I go down there and tend to the cat while she was gone, feed, water, change litter box, and all that. And she wanted to pay me just a small amount. Well, I said, I'll just do it for free. And so I did it, and she surprised me. The way she paid me, because I wouldn't take any money, was at these auctions when they'd have a box, and they'd call it a lot, not A-L-O-T, just A space L-O-T, of books, her brother would bid on those. Well, several times, some of those box of books turned out to be vintage crochet books or knitting books. I have a lot of books, patterns of doilies. I used to do a lot of doilies. And one time a box was all full of work basket. They gave them all to me, and I don't have them anymore. I think I went through them all, and maybe I picked some patterns that I knew I would make, and I don't remember what I did with all those books. But that is one way that I managed to acquire a lot of books all at one time, and free for me. The only thing I had to do was feed, water a cat, and change her litter box. So that worked out great. 18 minutes. I don't know when this will shut off. And so anyway, I went into my added on room a couple days ago and grabbed a handful of books. That's how I found that I had that extra one. And then last evening I went back in and grabbed another handful. And then I spent time on my phone, on YouTube. I was looking at Creative Grandma Glenda's Stitch of the Week videos. She has a lot of those. And I was trying to decide if I liked any of those. I like them, don't get me wrong, but I was trying to decide, did I want to use any of those stitches, maybe even several of them, in my calendar blanket. And well, last evening I decided no, that may change today if I get back, looking at YouTube. But I think I've narrowed it down to 2 pattern stitches. I just got to decide which one. And then I'll get started on it for January. I wanted to tell you, if you wanted to, for those of you that enjoy my chickens, and maybe some of you have ducks or have had ducks. I don't have ducks. I don't want ducks. I like ducks in a pond. There's a a YouTube channel. It's called Oscar the DuckWhisperer, and he's over in the UK. And he came across one of my chicken videos and commented. And when he commented, he said he had just put up his first video. And so if I would go check him out. So I went over there and checked him out, and I subscribed to him. He only has 34 videos up, or maybe it's 35 subscribers. I forget. He's just starting out, but you can tell he just loves his chickens and he loves his ducks. And I've been watching him and commenting, and he's been replying to the comments, and we agree that chickens have their own personalities, and he says that ducks do too. I don't know anything about ducks, but I'm sure they do. But he just gets a kick out of his flock, and I think it'd be nice for those of you who enjoy my chickens to go over there and at least check out a couple of his videos and maybe leave him a nice comment. And I think that it would encourage him. I think he's a young person, I'm not sure. And just starting out making his chicken and duck videos. Oscar the DuckWhisperer. And I don't know if he'll see this video because I'm not showing any of my chickens, but if he does, I want to encourage him to just continue on making his videos. As you can see, it's a gloomy day, a wet day. I'm not getting out in this weather to take a walk. I'm down here in Rowlett at a park that I've taken you to before. And there's people here in the parking lot, and they're bikers, not motorcycle bikers, but like bicycle bikers. And there was 3 or 4 of them all huddled around together checking out their tires, and one was filling up water containers, and then they took off, all 3, like the 3 blind mice, down there riding their bikes. And I guess that is it. I would love for my glasses to have been in, but doing the best that I can. You know, here comes a biker. Coming here, there was an accident. When these roads get wet, they're really slick, and people already don't drive good in Texas. So you add wet roads to it and not good drivers, and you get an accident. And I passed an accident, then almost had an accident because someone that stopped to watch, you know, it was flowing traffic. The accident was in the opposite lane. My lane was flowing, and someone in my lane came to I would say a complete stop to look over and see what was happening. Maybe they recognized a car or something. I don't know, but it wasn't smart for them to do. Now, they weren't in front of me. They were on the left, in the left lane. But when they went to start to go again, they kind of, they turned their wheels so that they were coming into my lane. Thank God I was able to quick stop, because if not, they would have taken out the driver's side of my front. But they were not paying attention when they decided to get going again. But I thought of this, and I wanted to share it with you. It's something I learned years ago in church. It has to do with prayer. A lot of times when people see an ambulance or a fire truck, you know, when you're driving and then you see one coming either behind you, around you, or the opposite way, a lot of people will send up a quick prayer like, well, oh, God, help the people that they're going to. And that's wonderful. What I learned years ago was applying that type of prayer, like when you drive by a school. Pray for protection for the kids. We all know how things have happened in schools, but when I live in an area where I have quite a few schools around me, and every day when I drive by them, I pray God protect those children, protect the teachers, give the teachers wisdom and patience to work with, any kids that may be a little difficult. Prayers like that. Drive by a fire station. I pray God protect those workers there. Help them to get rest when they're able to rest. Help them to be alert when they go out on a call. Bless their families with peace. They got families at home that are probably, I'm sure, very concerned and worried when those firemen and women have to go out on a call. So I start praying even for their families. Drive by a police station. I pray the same thing. God, protect the cops. Give them wisdom. Give them discernment from when they're got to stop someone, And of course, when drive-by accident, pray God help all those that are involved and all those that are tending to those that need help. Help them all. I think that's, the Beatitudes. Jesus talked about, blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. When we're praying for others like that, we're being merciful. We're asking God to be merciful. And then we all need mercy. And so that's just something I wanted to share with you. If you can remember the next time you're driving by hospital, pray God protect those doctors, give them wisdom, protect those patients. God, send nurses that are full of compassion to each patient's room. Hey, I used to be a nurse's aide and a home health aide, and I know that not everyone that's in that field of work is in it because it's in their heart, if you know what I mean. And so when I drive by those places, I say, God,